Welcome to the WNBF UK podcast.
Okay, guys, welcome to another WNBF UK podcast. You're here with myself, Leon Mitchell, WNBF Pro, and I'm joined with the original pro and OG pro, Adrian Gray, aka the Saxon King. Welcome to the show, my man.
What's good? What's good? Thanks for having me, bro. Big respect.
No problem, man. I think this one's going to be great insight for those listening in because Adrian does it all. He's an athlete, he's a coach, and he's a judge. So I think we're going to get some takeaways, man. Trying to catch up with Adrian. So before we get into the mix of it, Adrian, let's start with Adrian, the athlete. Where did the journey begin? Give us some backstory.
Well. So basically, it was I was one of them people that kind of like was good at sports, just coming up standard, just, you know. And it was the case that when I was young, doing karate, I got to my brown belt when I was like year 9, and I just got bored. But the thing was, like, the idea of training was kind of what stuck. And when I finished school, I kind of like, that's when I started training. Like, okay, I'm all right to this gym thing, so I'm going to keep going. And it kind of built from there. It was a situation that I was just training at different gyms, and it was mainly like a gym in Wolverhampton called Muscle Masters, where I kind of like just started at the age of 17, and pretty much like, how can I explain this in layman's terms? Basically, the education of the very, 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 very start of bodybuilding, I was taught by Roadman. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, they were the ones, that like, they were like, nah, train like this. This is what you build. Da, 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 da. And obviously, because I'm one of the younger guys in the gym, they like looked out for me and just kind of like guided me. And it was a case that I just took it on and just ran with it. It was later on, I went to Saxon Gym, and that's when I was thinking there was a couple of guys competing that I knew. And I was like, you know what? I like the gym. Let me see what this thing's about. And I kind of like got to the gym, spoke to the owner, Ryan. And at the time, not many people were doing bodybuilding shows. And it was kind of like people would look at you funny even speaking about it. It's like, it was okay to go to the gym, but it's like the step of competing. It wasn't really, there was only like, I think out of the only guys that I ever knew that actually competed, there must have been like two people I ever knew that competed before like me getting into it. And I'm talking like big older men. And basically, I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't know, you know. I said to him, I don't know. And he says, he looked at my physique and he was like, you know, now you got a lot of potential, you look good. And I said to him, I said, I don't know, you know. I said, you see them things on the side? You see them things? That's what I called them. I said, you see them things on the side of your abs? I can't get them, you know. I can't get them. I said, I said to him, I said, you said a 6-pack, I can get that. You know what I mean? But these things at the side, nah. These things aren't coming. I was like, them things aren't coming, so I don't think I can do this competing thing.
Yeah.
So then he's like, no, don't worry. We'll get you sorted. And it was crazy because obviously I was in all right shape and I went to the gym, I was strong, blah, blah, blah. But I think that was the first time I kind of understood how much I should have been eating and what my diet was lacking. And because I didn't really understand how much intake of food I should have been having in, it kind of like was a shock to the system. And I started to build on that. I think it was about 6-7 months. Because I was in all right shape already, I didn't need to like put on loads of muscle. It was a case of just training, eating, and eating the higher intake of food kind of like gave me the food that I needed to just like start to grow properly. And then I did my first show, which was the Mr. Apollo, and that was 2013, and it was Mr. Apollo show in Kettering, and Vince D'Alessandro did the show. And I was just like, you know what? I remember when I was sitting there in the crowd, and I'm sitting there, and then I said, because I had my wife on one side and Ryan was on the other side, and he said to me, "You nervous?" I said, "You know what? Nah." I said, "I'll be all right, you know." I said, "I think I'll be all right." And then I said to my wife said to me, she says, "Aren't you nervous at all? Like, this is a completely new thing for you." I said,
Yeah.
"You know what? What's mad? Because gym has always been my thing. Like, gym kept me out of trouble. It kept me from getting with the wrong company. It kept me from being on road. And because it stopped me from so many things, it was my comfort zone, so to speak."
Yeah.
And that's what I knew. And I said, in terms of going up on there, I said, I know what I've got to do, but part of me wasn't even daunted like by any of it, just because you see, like, growing up the way I've grown up, like, I've been in front of people performing since I was a little kid, like going up in the front of church, singing with my brothers. And it's a point that I found, to be honest, that kind of pressure when you're 5, 6 years old to go up in front of them big people in church and you have to sing your heart out. That's when you get judged. You know what I mean? Now, going in front of all these people in trunks, I was just like, you know what? Like, if it was just me doing it in these trunks, I'd be a bit, but all of these people doing it in the trunk, so it's no issue. So I did that show, and I came third in my class, which was good, as it was an untested show. I was quite boosted, to be honest. It was the first experience on stage. I enjoyed it, and I said, you know what, I'll do this again. And then the second show was a few months later, and that was the NPA Midland show. And me doing that show, it kind of like introduced me to the world of natural bodybuilding, so to speak, because I was kind of like, I was just no one knew who I was, so I was just not just any guy. And to be fair, I got there, I turned a few heads, and I won my class. I won the overall, won best presentation.
Nice.
And it was like, I just carried on. And it was like, people used to say, "Oh, your posing's really good." And it was a situation that, because you see, at our gym, we had to literally like nail the posing. And it was something that was ingrained in us, because at the end of the day, a lot of our guys were natural and we were going against guys that weren't. So, and our posing had to be in the place to say, okay, then cool, this guy might have 3-4 stone on me, but I can still beat him. And that's what it was. And that kind of mentality and that drive and that fearless like thought process, it kind of just kept me pushing in terms of doing like untested shows and still being natural. It was a case that it kind of like galvanized me for what was ahead. And following that year, I went to the MPA British, came second. I'm not going to lie. Okay, guys, listen. Anybody watching this, if you get vexed, if you get mad for coming second, I've done it. Like, I was fuming, like kicking. I wanted to leave the trophy there. I didn't want to take it home.
I said leave the trophy.
Fuming. But I look back, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And I think following that year, I did the UK DFBA for the first time, and I did that show, and I went backstage. I'll never forget this. I went backstage, and like, I'm like, okay. What's going on? Let's see this. I went backstage. I saw Wayne Robb, because I'd seen him before. And I saw a couple of guys. And then I saw Stefan Couric. I saw Stefan. He backed off his top. I was like, okay, yo. I was like, so one.
I think a few people can relate to that when they go backstage.
Bro,
you see next man, you're like, oh, okay.
I went backstage and I saw this shredded guy. I was just like, oh, so who's coming second? So I spoke to him and I said, okay, Stefan, because I've been like, I'd seen his name mentioned a few places.
Yeah.
And he did the NPA as well. Like, I think that same year or the year before. And so I'd seen his name before. And I said, Stefan, who prepped you? And he said, Gav. I said, Gavin Gibson. He's like, yeah. I said, oh, I know Gav. And the joke was, this is the joke, this is mad. Like, me and Gav, yeah, he's my boy. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, we both support Arsenal. Yeah. So both of us like deal with a lot of disappointment and pain. Yeah. we both deal with it. You know what I mean? And that's one thing we had in common, even before like he started prepping me. And basically it was a case that I said, okay, so Gav, okay, cool. So we did that show. Stefan won the pro card, and I came third. And I was like, you know what? I finished third. Okay, I can take that. It was one of them ones where like you think, okay, I know where the space is. I know the gap from where I am now to where I need to be. And that's what it was. And me talking to Gav and just chatting to him, we said, cool, we can make a plan, we can get to it. And the year after, I was doing I did the very first Saxon Classic before it was PCA, when it was IBFA. And I finished third in class 2. And then I won the Mr. Staffordshire class. And honestly, that day, you know what's mad? People don't understand the ways bodybuilding can mash up your head, because all week, I'm sitting there thinking, yo, Adrian, you are not ready. You're not ready, You're not ready. And Ron said to me, because Ron was still prepping me at the time, Ron said, okay, cool, we're going to try something different. And we tried something different just in terms of the carb up, yeah? And Ryan had me getting up like some mad time of the night, like to eat some carbs and go back to bed. And I woke up in the morning and I was like, mad, it's worked. It worked. Run some of the daft. I was like, it worked. And it was a case of cool. Like, I went to the show. I did very well at the show, to be honest. And I was quite happy with it, to be honest. Like, I did the Mr. Staffordshire class, won that. And it was kind of like it was a bit more to say, look, I'm here and I can I can hang with some of these good guys, you know what I'm saying? And I'm natural. Yeah. So I can still knock heads with these guys that aren't, and I can still do my thing and be competitive. So it was like, did that show, and then I think I had like a month to kind of like just chill. But following that, I think a couple months later, I started working with Gav, and it was a learning experience. He's taught me a lot, like taught me mad, like a lot, just in terms of prep, in terms of just mindset as well. Just like some days you just don't feel like you need, it's like sometimes your legs just ain't got it in you, but you just got to get it done. Got to get it done. Yes. And I remember one thing he said to me, Gav said, he says, I said, sometimes people sound blunt and I may not be nice all the time. And I said to him, but bro, that's what I need. I need you to be on my case. Just like, yo, just tell it to me raw, tell it to me straight. And we just worked well together. And that year, we went back to the UK DFBA. To be honest, it was funny because I think it was like about 4 weeks out. Because what had happened was PCA had just started then. And there was a show 4 weeks prior to the UK DFBA show. And I was doing my check-in with Ryan, just see how it looks and go over my posing as usual. And then Ryan said, Adrian can compete this weekend. I said, I can't, man, I can't. He says, Gav is not ready. He says, I know what Gav said, but just don't worry. He said, don't change anything, but just come and compete. I says, I can't. And he's like, all right, then I'm joking. And then we held that, we did the 4 weeks, went to the UK DFBA, won the British against, and this is the thing, like I said, that year, people were writing me off because I'm not, I've said this before on another podcast before, that I'm not the forum guy. I'm not like, I don't come with the internet chat. I don't do none of that. I just do what I'm doing. I just don't bother nobody. And I just go gym. I don't bother no one. And even when I'm at my own gym, if someone tells me to move, I'll move. I mean, and like, it's true. I just don't do that. So basically, people come with the talk, Adrian won't do this, Adrian won't do that. It's like they're talking about Sam, they're talking about Nigel. Shout out to my boys, my two brothers. And like, I was like, you know what? All right, cool. They were saying Adrian won't be ready. And Lewis, Rusty, was saying, nah, Adrian's working with Gav. And I've seen some pictures and he's looking proper. And they're like, yeah, but we don't know. I was like, okay. So Gav told me this, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, locked in. We just used it as fuel, and I went there and we just smashed it, man. Bust it up. Like, won the British title, got the UK title. Then, so turned pro, WNBF Pro, and then I went to the day after, which was the Pro International, and I won that as well. And it was a case that I was just like, yo, like, because the preparation was put in and the hard work was put in, I was like, these guys can't talk right now. I'm on it. And I was just on it. And I felt good, man. And I went to America and went to the Worlds. And yeah, man, I came third at the World. So, you know what I mean? A lot of people I'm not going to be honest here, I'll say it straight. I'll say it here. I'll say it for you. So basically, so what happened? Big up, another WNBF pro, Brandon Beckett. He's from the States. Big up. Because he came to me and said, bro, he said, I just want to say, you should win today, but you're not going to. I said, yo, don't watch it. I said, bro, don't watch it. I said, I get it, man. I'm the new guy. You understand? And so I just got to do what I got to do. And he was like, nah, but you look good, man. He said, no, bro. He said, you smoked it. And I came third, and I was like, and to be honest, even though we don't like it, like, even though at shows, we don't like people booing, when the crowd, I remember this like vividly, and people got to understand, I'm all the way in New Jersey, and I'm out. I did my routine. Some people may remember my routine because I played. I can't remember the song, what it's called. You know, it was a song I took off the Fresh Prince. Yeah, and it's a song that Will sang to Uncle Phil. And it's like, and you're gonna love it. Anyway. But anyway, so basically, I chose that song because I thought to myself, yo, Adrian, you are going to the States, so you need something that can relate to. And this is the reason why I say that, like, you see, like, if you go certain places, you've got to connect. Your routine's got to connect with people. It's not about just the judging. It's about people. You're trying to leave an impression on people. You see what I mean? And the routine smashed it. And when they said I was third, the crowd booed. And I was like, you know what? It's cool. I like that. As long as the crowd is cool. That's love for me. That was love, and I took it. And I think to myself, you know what? Just keep it moving. Do what you got to do. And yeah, man, carried on competing. I did some more shows. PCA was growing. And I'll tell you what's mad. Sometimes you kind of have to take a bit of, not humble pie, but sometimes you have to humble yourself to grow. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like in bodybuilding, it's a game where sometimes your mindset might not be the chosen path for you, and everyone else can see it, but you can't, because you're so dead constant, like, nah, I'm doing this. And what it was, because I was still competing in class 2, which is like the height category in PCA, against all these guys that are untested, my physique was 10 times better, but they're just bigger. So I can't, in a way, I can't even argue. You see what I mean? They're bigger, they're bigger, and some of them were in the same condition, so I can't even argue. So basically, I went to Body Power 2018, and for that year, I thought to myself, you know what, Adrian, let me try this. Let me try to prep myself. Let me try it. Just see what happens. I mean, see what happens. See what you look like. And I went to Body Power, and in my mind, I was like, I'm doing Body Power, but I know I'm not ready. In my heart of hearts, I knew I wasn't ready, because me and Gav were both sponsored by Gaspari. Gav looked at me and was like, you're not ready. Gav looked at me and was like, no. No. But I said, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. He's like, okay, cool, just do it.
Yeah.
And then I did that. And then I finished second in class 2. And following that, a guy from Israel, some young, big man. Man was massive, like wedge, like hench. He beat me.
Yeah.
From Israel. And you know what? I was like, you know what? At the time, I looked at it, I was like, nah. But then part of me was like, nah, Adrian, you just got beat. You just got to take it on the chin. I was like, okay, cool. Take it on the chin, just keep it moving. And because Mark came with me. And because Mark was with Farmer Freak at the time, we both had distribution company, was the same. So I know him quite really well. And basically Mark was in the crowd of the show, and he said, bro, you know what? I know you don't want to, but you should think about classic, you know. I'm like, bro, nah. I was like, nah, no. And he was like, nah, bro, honestly, you should really think about it, because you see what it is, bro. You're natural, yeah. So the fact is that you're not going to beat these guys for size. It's a case that your shape, though, is next level. So you've got to work on your shape. You got to work on the things that make you better than them. So you got to attack the shape. And I was like, let me try this. And I went to another show in Kettering, which was the Muscle Talk. I did the PCA Muscle Talk in Kettering, and I won the classic class and carried on prepping. Went to the British. I won the British title, and I was awarded my pro card later on that same year as well. So it's a case that even though I was kind of what's the word? I wasn't fully welcoming it. It kind of like chose me. And I look at the way that classic bodybuilding, classic physique, whatever, has maneuvered and the way it's progressed. And I think, you know what? This is the thing for me, because my posing and the shape, structure, and just the way I'm as a person, it appeals to and it works with it. It's not fake. It's not put on. This is me. And any person that's worked with me, like when it comes to routines, like I'm like if people have never seen me put a routine together for someone, like they just see me and I'm starting to go because I'm just feeling it. I'm like, okay, let's go. And it just comes, and it's kind of like instinctive, and it just works because you got to work with the music. You got to work with like the person, structure, physique, shape, waist, limb length, all them different things. And yeah, man, like it's been a crazy time, and I'm back with Gav now as well, and we're looking at.
You're currently prepping, right?
I'm prepping now. This jawline. See this? It didn't look like that. It didn't look like that 4 months ago. It didn't look like that 4 months ago, bro. But
so what's the motivation why you're prepping at the moment? Because obviously you had some time off.
You know what it is like? I initially planned to do the PCA Universe in 2020, and then COVID hit. So I was just like, nah, it's just too difficult, because you know what it was? Like, my mindset, don't get me wrong, I'm a warrior and I can just do it. I do it. However, with so much else going on in the world, your mind's just like, I can't even focus on this, you know. I can't even focus, just because like the amount of like things you see on television, and I lost a family member as well. And I was just like, yo, this is a lot, you know, like it is a lot. So you need to kind of like look at things and put it in perspective. And I said, you know what? I said to Gav, I said, bro, let's just put a pause on it and I will just get back on it when it comes back. And it's like, cool. And it's like, now my motivation is, part of me is kind of like, I still got like energy in the old bones. And it's a case that I like doing it because I like showcasing my ability. I like showcasing just the imagination that can be put into posing, and the creativity. It's the creativity above all, just because everything doesn't have to be just the quarter turns. You can put so much different things into it. It's just about how you think it in terms of approaching the poses. It's about how you like visualize what you're trying to say. Like, for me personally, it's art. It is an art form, and it's a point that I need to leave you with some form of impression. I need to leave you with some form of thought to say, you know what? I didn't know what to expect in this bodybuilding show. However, it was all right and I liked it. And I can see there's some kind of artwork in there. I may not be able to explain it all. However, I want to leave a positive impression on a person that may be coming as a blank slate. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, you know what? It's interesting you say that, because I remember in the early days, when I started first competing, and I remember coming across your photos in one of the shows, and I was like, huh? You know what I mean? I had to pay attention, because I was like, hold on, this is like, this guy's taking it to a next level. It wasn't just, as you said, hitting the quarter turns. It was all about the presentation, the delivery, you know what I mean? That lasting impression. I was like, oh, wow, there's more to this bodybuilding, because it just opened my eyes to, okay, cool, there's a lot more things you need to factor in. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things you displayed throughout your time from competing, that it's just, okay, cool, I can get into great shape, but at the same time, I'm just going to, whether I come and walk away with that first trophy or not, you're still going to remember me. And I think it's clearly evident that your performance background, or your ability from a young age to be in front of people, and that confidence has kind of helped you along the way to kind of, when you go on stage, you own it, you shut it down. Hands down.
It's mad. It's mad, because people say to me, "Oh, don't you ever get nervous?" And because you're so used to, I'm used to the pressure of the eyes just staring at you, and you kind of like. I remember when anybody that knows me knows I love music, yeah? And I did A-level music, and I did A-level music for the actual composition, yeah? I'm like 16. I was 16. No, 17 actually. 17 years old, yeah. I had to sing 2 songs in front of my whole school. That was pressure. Like, for me, because I'm so used to the eyes being on me, and because I'm so used to saying, okay, cool, once you step past that line, you have to perform. You have to be on. There is not no, I'm not really sure. As soon as you step past that line, you're doing it, and you're going to do it to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
And because my mindset was like that from a very, very, very young age, I was like, when it came to school plays, I was on it easy. And when it came to performing and singing, I was just cool. Like, my family background, like, we're all singers. And it's a case that because you're in that culture of performing, and you're in that culture of it's just you and the crowd, you've got to do what you got to do. You just get used to it.
Yeah.
And this is what it is. It's like you just married the two things that I like to do: perform. I like music and gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nice. Perfect little combo there. It feels like everything kind of aligned for you along the way. And, you know, obviously you being a natural yourself, obviously you kind of used like competing against other, you know, non-naturals as a good way of kind of keeping you in line and kind of as a marker, right? To check your progress and stuff along the way.
You know what it is, bro? Like, a lot of people have said to me before, Adrian, don't ever get tempted. And I'm like, you know what? No, because I'm me, and it's a case that I do things my way. And if I started like to become enhanced, that wouldn't be me being me. That's me trying to please other people. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I don't knock anybody that's enhanced. I'm not like, yo, do your thing. Just please be healthy. Yeah. Please be healthy. That's all I say. But it's a case that because I'm me, and because I know exactly like what my plan is, I'm good, man. I'm good. Like, people used to sit there and say, oh, Adrian, like, don't get me wrong, yeah. You see, like, people, like, I know everyone gets this. Like, everyone gets where people around their area, nah, he's juicing. Yeah. Nah, it's got to be juicing. And you're like,
yeah.
No, I'm not. And they're like, no, you are. And then it's like, you get your friends coming back to this saying, yo, just had one argument with that man because he's trying to say you're on juice, but I know you're not. I'm like, bro, you know what? Like, it doesn't matter, because eventually you realize that regardless of what you say, they've got it set in their mind. I'm going to say you're on juice. There's nothing you can do to change my mind. And it's kind of like, after a while, you're like, you know what? There is no point me even trying to argue with you, because you're not going to listen to anything I've got to say. And that's how it is. It's like, there's no way you can look like that without juice. And I'm just like, okay, mate, if you say so, you must know me better than I know me. You know what I mean? And that's what it is, man. Like, it's a case that because I'm me, and I have no, like, people say, oh, but you could do this, you could do that. And I'm like, look, man, at the end of the day, I have no desire to do the things that some people might think I should be doing. And regardless of that, as long as my wife is family, my kids are my kids are happy, my wife is happy, I'm blessed. Because I'm not chasing down the world. I'm not running it down, because at the end of the day, my world is here with me, and I just got to make sure they're okay. I ain't got to make the world up. I ain't got to make the world happy. Don't worry about that. Let me do what I'm doing. And that's what it is, man.
Love that. And how do you balance the whole family life with competing and prep?
I'll tell you what's mad. Like, my wife, you know what? Who would know this? The people that came to New Jersey were people like Nigel, Matt Argyle, who else? Steve Howarth. Who else is there? Well, there's a lot of us there, yeah. Highly Madigan. So basically, yeah, when we went, I had a 1-year-old with me, my oldest daughter, and my wife was 7 months pregnant. You know what I mean? And on the plane there, she was throwing up. It wasn't funny at the time, but I can laugh about it now. Like, because she's been down, like my wife's like 100% though. This is like, you know, we're on this. Because of that single-mindedness and that support, this is all possible. Obviously, I thank the Lord every day for the family I've got, the wife that I've got, my kids. And to have that support is like, people don't understand that support, what it means, because every time I work with clients posing, the normal stance, the normal conversation is, oh, bro. I'm like, okay, you're right. I'm like, yeah. So I busted with my girlfriend, man. I said, yo, this is what guys say, like every year. I guarantee you, every year. That's, oh, man, my girl on the rocks, man, because of this show. And I say, you do realize it's just a bodybuilding show, you know. It's just a bodybuilding. It's not that deep. Like, you know, you need your girlfriend after the show. Like, you know, you just need to work things out. And
yeah.
It's a case that because I had to be in that position, and because I think it was after my second show, the MPA one, my wife said to me, she said, you know what? Because initially, I said to my wife, Elaine, this is the joke, you know. So I had my conversation with Ryan, yeah. And I think I didn't say it the day after. I wanted to, like, you know, just give it time to just like think about how I'm going to approach this. So I said to her, no. I said to my wife, oh, I got in bed. I was like, you know what? I might try this show thing, you know. And she was like, what do you mean? I said, you know, like, you know, this bodybuilding, I might just try one show, because like Ryan says I might be all right at it. And she's like, one show. And she's like, yeah, just the one show. You know what I mean? Just to get. I said, just get my name out there. Just get my name out there. You know what I mean? Get my name out there. And she's like, okay, we'll see. And then I think it was after the second show, she said to me, okay, you're pretty good at this. So let's see where this can go. And
hey, that's good.
Bro, like with that support, it's a case that prep, she understands. When I'm like near the last few months, the last couple of weeks, you know what's mad? The last couple of weeks of prep, I think I'm normal, but she's telling me I'm some like inconsiderate, like, like I'm some short-tempered, inconsiderate so and so. Like, to me, I'm just like, no, I'm just being normal.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not. But she knows that's only because like the pressure I put on myself to perform, to be the best, and just do what I've got to do. And it's what I ask of myself. So she's used to that. And there's a few times like I'll just lose my rag. Like I just have a short fuse. But I kind of like, she reins me back in. So it's that understanding. You see what I'm saying? And once you have someone that will do that and understand, it's massive, man. Like I couldn't do this without her. I couldn't do it without my kids, because my kids understand what I do. They understand, like, sometimes I've got to be at the gym. They know I've got to train. They know I've got to do what I've got to do. Some people follow me on Instagram. They'll probably see my kids like training, do a little bit of training in the garage at home. And it's like, because we understand what's going on, it just flows. I thank God every day. Like I thank God every day. Like I'm mad blessed because of it. Because so many guys out there, they always say to me, nah, my girlfriend hates me doing this. My girlfriend hates me doing this. And that's what it is. So any guy that has a girlfriend or wife that's backing them, bro, like you kind of got to cherish it and appreciate it, just because not every guy is in that situation.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm testament to that. Myself. And you hear it time and time again, with, as you said, with guys saying that the women's causing out loads of problems, it becomes a headache, and it's just another stress to add to prep as well. So I think it's all about bringing the people around you on that journey with you, so they can understand what you're going through, and it's a bit more manageable that way. You know what I mean? I think when someone you alienate them and they just see the off parts of prep, then they're never going to get it. They're just going to see, oh, that guy's an arse. I mean, so I think it's a great showcase that obviously you got a family.
It's mad. I'll tell you what's mad, bro. Like, because I've kind of got into this position, thank God, where bodybuilding is producing for me, and because I was on I was riding the wave as it was coming up, and so on a show day, like, my mum and dad were just like, okay, cool, just drop the kids off, blah, 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 blah. That's sorted, so I can just focus on the show. You see what I mean? Now, because I have that, thank God, my mind doesn't have to worry about that situation. Whereas some people I know, as soon as the show's done, they're racing back to get their kids. And it's another stress for the day. You know what I mean? And all those little different things that play a part into how you are and how you perform. And by having the perfect setup, thank the Lord, I'm just like, yo, I'm blessed, man. Blessed. And it's just something that people kind of gotta, you see, like, nowadays, when you see people struggling on prep, I used to be honest, I used to get annoyed. Like, I used to get annoyed with the things I'd see on social media, with people moaning about prep. And I'm like, you are single, and you are moaning about choosing to do a show that you want to do. And I'm like, you don't have no dependents. Like, you don't have to go to work in the day and just do this, do that, and just be all happy and blah, 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 even though inside you are crumbling. And 2 o'clock, your energy just goes, you know what I mean? And then you still got to go pick up the kids, go and sort them out, and then you got to go and train. Like, you are not in that position, so why are you moaning? But now I'm just like, you just chalk it. I just chalk it up as like growing a bit of maturity on my part. Like, at the end of the day, everyone has their own journey and everyone has their own struggles. However, if you got kids, you're on prep, it's difficult at times. Difficult, man. But it's worth it.
100%. I'm glad we touched on that, because I think that will kind of help those that do have, kids and have, girlfriends, help them kind of manage that.
It's like, you got to remember that your family and your kids, they're not asking you to do a bodybuilding show. You want to do it? It's you. But they have to pay the price. That's what it is.
So when we're going to see you back on a WNBF stage, or you just kind of more focused on just mixing it up?
I'm kind of like, I'm in contact with WNBF, like, the guys in America a bit. So it's a case of like, just talking, just working things out. Like, it depends, it all depends on. Depends on the wife. Like, because it's like, I can't literally just say, yo, I'm going. I can't just walk up to her. I can't get in the bed and say, yeah, so babes, like yeah, so babes, like the world championships, yeah. I'm thinking about going. Like, it doesn't work like that. So we have to make a plan. So we have to talk about that. But it's, what?
Just let me know so I can avoid it, boss.
No, man. To be honest, like I like competing against people who are good, man, because it kind of like pushes me.
Yeah.
Like, you see, that year I went against Rich, and my mind was like, yeah, I've got to beat him. Gotta beat him. I'm on it. And even when Rich spoke to me after the show, it was like, he said to me, it's like, I was nervous about even contacting you to see how your prep was getting on, because like, I didn't know what it was going to be like. And I'm like, I'm cool, I'm cool. But in my mind, I'm like, yo, I'm prepping to take your head off because I'm not playing. I don't play. I don't. When it comes to my prep, I'm like, I'm going all out to do this just because I've got to have that single-minded focus. Because if I don't, I know I'm half-hearting it. And if I half-heart it, one, Gav will be on my case, and two, I'll blame myself if it doesn't turn out how it should. You see what I mean? And it's that kind of drive, man, that drive. Like with what I'm doing in terms of like with the judging with WNBF, it's amazing, man. Like I like it. And it's a point that just by making it grow, like we have the chance to just develop it and keep pushing it. And there's space to be made and to move forward.
The thing I like about what you're doing, I think you know, if anything, you've taken your position as an athlete and just kind of just said, okay, cool, you know what, I'm opening up some doors, so let me just, you know, continue to kind of empower those behind.
You know what it is as well, bro? Like when it comes to natural bodybuilding, like the fact is being natural isn't something that holds you back. You see what I mean? Like people think I'm natural, so I can't do X, Y, and Z show. Now, realistically, you're not really going to go and do super heavy weights, whatever show, because you're not going to have the weight. However, does that mean you can't compete against guys that are not enhanced? Of course you can. You know what I mean? Of course you can, because the fact is, you just got to know, pardon me, what to bring. Bring your best. Your posing's got to be on point. Your physique has to be the best it can be. And once you do that, just keep building momentum, and just develop, because it's a point that no one is the finished article. You know what I mean? And because of that, we just got to look at how we can get better and better and better. And then you just build in the sport, man. Like, it's crazy, but it's good. Yeah. It's really good, man. I love it.
And obviously now you're doing your coaching as well, because you know, obviously you got your coaching business setting up. And talk to me about the reason why you wanted to go behind the coaching and kind of help people posing and stuff like that.
So people may not know. Before I went full time on my coaching, I was a science teacher. Yeah. And so basically, I was like getting kids to learn usuals, chemistry, biology. And me in school, basically, it was a number of things. I was looking at it, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I've been doing this posing coaching since, when was it? I've been doing it about 2016, 2017. But because it was on the weekends, I couldn't really push it. And it got to a point, I was like, you know what, Adrian, you need to kind of like do something more for yourself, just because like you're in a school and, you know, you get on with the kids better than some of the adults. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And I said to myself, you know what, like, trying to invest in yourself. I started investing in myself, started to, like, you know, look at pathways for me to do things better and start to operate it. And thank God I was, you know, worked to the position that I can do it full time. And it's a, I wouldn't say, well, it is a competitive game, because for me, I'm always competitive. Like, if anybody's watched The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, people see I like Jordan a lot, but Michael Jordan's mindset, he was next level, just because in one of the clips, he says that one guy that was going against, the guy did nothing wrong, but in his mind, Mike told himself, he said he was better than you. He said he was better than you, you know. And that gave him the fuel to just drive him forward and keep him going forward and going for it. And that's what I do. I see other guys in the pose, you know, like, you know, okay, cool. Okay. What can you do to be better? What can you do to raise your service? What can you do to help more people? What can you do to bring more awareness of things that people aren't really understanding from a competitive standpoint, but they understand it from a judging standpoint? You see what I mean? And with all those things, I just try and push it forward and just try and like be the best. That's it. I just want to be the best. Like realistically, I think that you see in terms of posing, I think in terms of, I've been doing it for quite a while. And it's a case that with the time I've been doing it, I think in terms of pushing it and going ham, when I started kind of like pushing it in terms of our generation, like of athletes across the board, main people were me and Emma Heineman. And I rate Emma. I mean, big up, salute. It's like, it's a case that because I see other guys coming into it now, it kind of like just gives me fuel to the fire and makes me more driven and focused, just because I think to myself, okay, cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. But what you gonna do when you go this? Boom! No, I'm joking. Right.
So are you seeing much more athletes now trying, get in contact with you earlier in their prep to kind of arrange their posing? Or are you seeing people still leaving it to lastminute.com?
Bro, I'll tell you something, I've seen guys do start coming to me as soon as they start the prep, even the off season now, just because they do need the help. Like, I kid you not, some guys, okay, cool. This is the way I'm going to explain it. Yeah. There are some guys out there that can pick up the posing within 3 or 4 sessions and they've got it because they've just got it. The looseness is there in their shoulders and their hips. They can just get it. Okay, cool. Move this, move that, move this, move that. Cool. Now, there are some guys that just can't do that. And they find it very difficult because they're so rigid and stiff and tight. Yeah. Some of it, they need massages, and some of it, they're just tight, like they're just really tight as people. Now, those guys, they need like a lot of work, and they only really understand it when they come and see me. Just because I'm saying, twist your body like this, hold this like this, twist like this, hold this like this, and don't move for 10 seconds. And them doing that, that's only when they kind of get, and they say every first session, always the same words, this posing's harder than it looks. Yes, I know. And because of that, it's a point that guys should get in contact quick and early, just because leaving it to the last minute is not going to cut it. Leaving it to the last minute is putting a lot of pressure on yourself to rush it and get on stage and you're not prepared. And for me, myself, I like to tell guys, look, man, my job is to make the stage experience as easy as possible. So my job, if you start with me early enough, my job is to get you so you can walk on that stage, do what you need to do. And if they wanted to call you back, you could do it again, and then you do it again and have the confidence to do so. So the fact is that every show we'll see a guy that's doing a pose like a side mandatory. And the first thing he does, he looks right and he looks left because he doesn't know what he's doing. So he's trying to copy someone else. Now, because of that, there is a gap. And to say, look, man, like, I know some guys may watch some YouTube videos or blah, 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 but you just accept help. Just accept it. Just because the fact is that I see bodybuilding every day. I've seen bodybuilding for a very, very, very long time. This is not the case I've just picked it up this year. This is not the case I've just done a couple shows and I'm a posing coach now. No, I've done this for a very long time. I've sat there and judged British finals. Like, I know what I'm talking about. So it's a case that it's better to put your trust in me that knows what's going to happen and how to prepare you for it than just try and wing it and then come into a show and you're unprepared. Because a lot of guys, that's one thing that a lot of guys say is the reason why they never compete again, because they weren't prepared. Just be prepared. Like all the girls do it. Like this weekend, it's strange. I think it's partly psychology as well, just because when it comes to the promoting that they're getting help, a lot of guys don't want to. Like there's a bit of like, nah, I ain't gonna show no one I need help. No, look, man, at the end of the day, if you need help, there's a guy who looks at you, who probably looks at you for inspiration, and they need to realize they need help. So you just say, I'm getting help, and that's it. And just be open about it, just because you've got to show them you're getting better, and then someone else will want to get better, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Nice. And then is that what kind of led you into transitioning into the judging kind of side of things? Because obviously now, you're doing a lot of posing yourself. You know what to look for.
It does help, and the judging, it's all kind of like intertwines. Just because with the judging, like it's been a learning curve, like serious learning curve. Just because with the men's classes, like I could literally sit down, come out. Okay, I've got an idea. Quarter turns, got an idea. Switch them around. I know who's going to win. Yeah. Now, if there's an ace in the pack and then they come out, we'll probably say, okay, I want to see him. Boom. Then we change around. The women's classes, like this is it again, because there are so many women competitors, which is a good thing. It's a case that your judging has to be better. So in a bodybuilding class, you might get about 10, 12 guys. In a women's bikini class, you might get 20. And the show has a certain amount of time to take to be starting and finishing. So your judging for the bikini class has to be super fast. And you have to analyze every single athlete within seconds. It's literally like, people think judging's easy, and it's not. Like, people see it as, well, I should have beat such and such guy. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't. Because 1, he's in better condition. 2, you don't know how to pose. And 3, his hamstring just destroyed you. And 4, you got no back. I can say that, you know what I mean? Now, when it comes to a bikini class, you have to be on point. The women's judging, like, it's more difficult in terms of body structure. It's different and it's more difficult. A woman judge may say it's easier, and they may find bodybuilding easier. But for me, because bodybuilding, I can just like tick the boxes. But when you've got a lot of different women that have got different body structures, you've got to look at different things. And because it's the number, because there's so many of them, you just gotta go and look and just go boom, 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 and then you do the call outs. It's a massive learning curve, but I'm so grateful for it, just because it's made my the eye in terms of what is needed to win better. It's made my ability to look at a physique and think about, okay, cool, this is where you are. Where could you get in a regional show? Where could you get at a British final? And I can kind of like gauge where you'd kind of fit in. So it's one of those things that's made me better, and I've had to develop myself and just study and just get better and better and better at it. And I appreciate the opportunities that I've been given to do that. And it's a case that because there's so many more athletes coming into the sport as well, you have to kind of like just be on your toes and always be ready to see like a new person who's going to shock you and take it to the next level. It's crazy, man, but it's a lot to learn. It's good. It's a good thing.
I think you're going to see some crazy ones, this season, especially with the WNBF. I've just been following the hashtag and I'm just like, whoa, where did this guy come from?
I'll tell you something. From the British show, I think the person for me, I was just like, this guy is, what's his name? What's his name? The guy is the guy from France.
Oh, Samuel. Yeah.
Samuel. I was like, Samuel Hartman.
Yeah, that's it.
And he walked out. I was just like, junior? He's a junior? Huh? But
yeah,
kid was class, like top class. And it kind of inspired me, just because I think at the end of the day, this is a young man that's dedicated his time and his life to bodybuilding in this 22 years of being on this planet, and he's presented something really, really impressive. It's something that you can look at and say, you know what, it's time well spent, and you can see where the future of the sport's going with guys like him. You know what I mean? So it's a point of just making sure that you see more of those guys, and those guys need to be promoted just to make sure that other people see them, to see it's possible, man. Like, because a lot of people will live in their own mind, they don't think it's possible because they haven't seen it. So if someone is able to see it and say, mad, he's 22 and he looks like that, I need to go to gym. And then someone else might look like that. And that's it's just a domino effect, and just keeps going and going. And it's really, really inspiring. I'm just happy for him, man. Really, really pleased that he did really well. Really good, man. And his posing was good.
Definitely. Yeah, no, hands down, man. He shut it down. And even some of his off-season posing videos, I'm like, wee, putting in sterling work. So is there any hints and tips from the judges' table that you can give some of the aspiring athletes? Because obviously we've got the first timers and novice show for the WNBF UK on the 17th of July.
I would say the first thing is practice posing, because posing is something you can change. Yeah. You cannot change your shoulder width. You cannot change the limb of the length of your limbs. However, you can change your posing according to your body structure. By understanding your body structure and making your posing the best in relation to your body structure, you can present a better physique. You understand what I'm saying? Now, people have got to understand we're not all the same. So you may hold the pose slightly different to someone else. And because of that, you have to practice. Practice is so important. In terms of being on stage, you've got to remember that, one, it's entertainment. So please smile. It makes the day look so much more better. Please smile. Yeah. And two, I would say, think about the angles you're giving the judges. Think about the rotation you've got in your waist. Like, one thing I've said to a couple of clients this past few weeks was that in the old days, there would be a broomstick in the gym. Any gym you walk in, there'd be a broomstick. And guys would put it on their shoulders and they would twist. Yeah. And that would free up and mobilize a lot of the midsection area. Gyms don't have that no more. They just have amazing equipment. And because of that, when guys are coming to do posing, they can't twist because their bodies go into an unfamiliar position. So where you can, ladies and gents, that are watching this, please, even if you're at home, get a broomstick, put your arms on it and twist, so that when you get on stage, you're able to present big waist, big shoulders, small waist. You see what I mean? On those quarter turns, because the quarter turns, the use of the quarter turn is to pretty much show the judges, this is my structure and this is the amount of muscle I've got on me. And you've got to use it to your advantage, because a lot of people, they don't put enough emphasis on it and they don't gain the width. So when they don't gain the width, the judges think, well, he's not that big. He's not. And then they do a lat spread and it's like, oh, he's got some muscle, but he's still not hitting the lat spread properly to show his true width. So think about your rotation and think about the rotation on things like side chest, side tricep. You've got to make sure you're thinking about width all the time. Tiny waist, big shoulders, every time. And in that way, you'll present a good physique to the judge, and the judge will say, okay, cool. Yeah. Keep him in the mix. And that's what it's about, man. You know what I mean?
Nice. Well, that's some good takeaways there for the guys looking to compete, especially for the first timers and the novice show. And even those going into the open show, like championship, still take that into consideration in your lead up to the shows. You know what I mean? Well, Adrian, yeah, man, it's been a pleasure having you on today's show, man. I think, you've dropped some serious insight into both yourself as an athlete, yourself as a coach, and certainly some good takeaways from the judging perspective. So thank you, my friend, for being on today's show. No problem. What I mean? So I want to big up our show sponsor, CNP Nutrition. Shout out to those guys. And obviously we're going to be working close with them at our next two shows. So the next two shows, first one up, we've got the first timers and the novice show on the 17th of July. So for all you first timers and the novices, get on that one, guys. Registrations are open, so make it happen. And then we've got the big one in October, the Supernaturals Open Championship on the 9th of October. That's the one we need to all be working towards and making sure we make that one epic. Seeing some amazing athletes so far, working hard towards these shows. You know what I mean? So it's going to be an exciting season. So I can't wait to see it all. But Adrian, thanks again. Oh, Adrian, before you disappear, give us your social media handle so we can follow you. And, if we need to.
Sure. Find me on Instagram. If you put in Saxon King, you'll find me. Like, if you just put in Saxon King, you'll find me. Yeah. And man, just reach out if you want posing and some online coaching as well. But make sure, as I said, that do not leave your posing to last minute, man, because at the end of the day, you're giving up something that you can change, and by understanding how you can change it and it'll benefit you, take in all the information you can from every posing session and use it on stage. Because the fact is, the calmer you are on stage, the more prepared you are, and the more you will enjoy it, because you're able to take it in. People, what happens is, like, and I'm going to talk, but this will be my last point. Like, what it is, like, what happens with people, because they're not prepared, they get anxious, and the anxiety kicks in when they hit the stage. And because they're anxious, everything seems like it's happening at 100 miles an hour, quarter turn, side chest, side tricep. And before they know it, they're walking off stage. So the fact is, be prepared so you can take it. I tell my guys, every time you walk on stage, before you walk across that line, take a deep breath, then walk in and enjoy it, because the hard work's been done. All you've got to do is do things that you already know and just go and do it. Yeah,
love that. And that's a great way to end it, guys. So if you didn't know before, now you know from the man who's done it and gone to the next levels with it. So again, until the next episode, guys, we'll see you soon.
Check out CNP, our sponsors, and sign up for our events at www.wnbfuk.com.